Hello. I'm Leslie,
I'm Stephanie. Good morning.
and we are the Hand Readers Guild, and we are here today to answer the question: Are you sensitive? So, um, we are going to talk today about what markers of sensitivity you will see in the hands, and what they mean if you have them, and how you can cope better if they're causing you issues in your life. So before we do that, though, I just want to tell you a little bit about us. We are the Hand Readers Guild. The Hand Readers Guild, we started this because we are both hand analysts and we just love what hand analysis can do for you. And we started this to share and educate and let people know the beauty of this system. So we do these of course.
They're live. We do them weekly.
We're doing them live. I hesitated because that was my dog saying, I need to go to the bathroom right now, Mom,
Right
because
now.
you're on the video.
So being as it's live, this happens, and
Yes.
we just roll with the punches.
We roll with the punches, and we don't edit these
No
once we post
editing.
them. And they go up to our Facebook page, and they go up to our YouTube channel. And we are we have a Facebook group, which is right there, Hand Readers Guild Forum, which you can join and learn more about hand analysis. We have a lot of great little images and teaching posts there, as well as you can see these videos there, or again on our YouTube channel, which the link will be below. And let's get going. And I'm hoping my dog will just cross his legs until we're done with this.
Oh my goodness.
Poor thing. I just knew that was going to happen today. I knew it. All right. So let's go and take a look at our slides. Every week we've got a little slideshow for you. So are you sensitive? So do you remember back in the day, Stephanie, and I don't know if it's still happening, but when I was young, I used to get clobbered over the head all the time with people telling me, you're too sensitive. You're so sensitive. Stop being sensitive.
Yes, I had always gotten, you're not being sensitive enough or insensitive.
Really?
Sometimes, yes.
Wow.
Why aren't you being more sensitive to blah, 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 whatever.
Wow. Well, all I know is that I was always told to just stop being so moody, stop being so sensitive,
don't take it so personally.
Right, all of that kinds of stuff.
Yes.
Right. So, so why talk about sensitivity? We all are sensitive to some degree. It's not something that's going to go away. It's not something you can just like make stop happening. And it looks like I'm not going to make that bell stop happening either. So, Stephanie, want to take over for a minute while I let the dog out?
Yes, our sensitivity. We currently have if you work in an office or in some kind of professional setting, sometimes we have to take sensitivity classes. And being maybe you're an empath, and this is maybe a part where you might be able to see in your hand if that is something that it relates to you. And if what else about sensitivity? It's I'm rolling with it.
Okay, you're rolling with it. Okay, it doesn't mean you're flawed, basically.
It does not mean you're flawed. It just means you have the extra ability to pay attention to other people's feelings as well.
And you know, some people really use their sensitivity to a great degree. They are the visionaries, intuitive healers, psychics, and
caregivers.
People use it in business because there's a lot of inventiveness that comes from people having that aha moment, right? And where do those come from? They're not come from the left side of the brain.
No, it's the right side.
Right. So some of the challenges that come with that's the other one saying, why aren't I out peeing? Are sensitivity to pain, being affected by low blood sugar, being deeply moved by art and music. That some people might find that a plus, some might find it a minus. So
yep, I use that method frequently with people that I work with. Let's listen to some music.
Right.
And we do that. Yep. It calms them down. We have a little more easier time of what we're doing. Creativity happens. All that stuff. All right.
Go ahead and start talking about the girdle while I grab the dogs.
All right. In this hand in particular, they have this beautiful girdle of Venus. It is the line that goes between the pointer finger and the middle finger and makes that beautiful loop around the middle finger and the ring finger, or Saturn and Apollo finger, and ends in between the ring finger and the pinky finger. And it is a gift marking, and it is also not super common, even though I see a lot of people with this. But that is just I used to joke when I was reading hands that I got so many girdle of Venuses that I had to work on my sensitivity. I'm like, you guys keep telling me I need to be more sensitive.
Wow.
Literally in a hand.
Wow. Well, you can see here, I'm back now. Dogs
Yeah.
are in. You can see here how I have, put there it is.
Yep.
This is just a beautiful one.
Mm-hmm.
Clear, full from one side of the hand to the other. And there I put the coloring on it so that you can see the difference. The dogs want to be in the video today.
Awesome. They're in it today.
They're in it. They're in it.
Yep.
They haven't been in it since I think, I don't know, like 2 months ago with that one.
It's the sensitivity. They need to be around you so you can talk about it.
Well, they are pretty sensitive dogs. They're pretty sensitive.
Yes.
So let's look at another version of a girdle of Venus. This one, unlike the first one, is partial. Mm-hmm. It's broken up. There you can see it with the coloring on it. And actually, there's even a little tiny line underneath to some degree, almost connecting it, but very, very faint. Again, there it is without the coloring on top, and there it is so that you can see it better. And so when the girdle's broken, it's usually an indication that there might be moodiness, anxiety, something is going on. That sort of antenna into empathy and compassion and being able to sort of sense other people's feelings may be causing some issues with the person, makes them anxious, that maybe they can't separate whose feelings they are they mine or the other person's. Right? But another way that this shows up is that this person becomes self-indulgent, which is more like they're shutting it out. So they focused on themselves only. So they don't actually have to tune into those other people. So they get, and now this is a hand that doesn't show to me a lot of anxiety. For instance, like the person in this slide, going back to our first hand here, which this is a hand, I was letting the dogs out. I don't know if you mentioned how like nervous the lines in this hand are.
We did not get to that point.
And this, okay. Well, this is, okay. So back to slide number 1. This person has multiple girdles. They have the more deeply etched ones that go from finger to finger. And then there's all of these little faint ones, like a grill of them underneath, right above the heart line. And there's just so many. And the whole hand is just covered in these grills that make it seem like this person has one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. And they're just like, I know I need to move forward in life, but I'm just so nervous. I don't know if I can do it.
I'm afraid.
Right. So back to this person, that hand does not have that level of nervousness in the lines, or it actually is kind of a calm looking hand other than that girdle of Venus. And there's other things that in this hand that maybe say that the person is focused on themselves to not tune in.
Right.
To avoid what's going on with the girdle.
Avoid the feelings.
Avoid the feelings. Right. All right. So let's move on from girdle. The next thing we want to talk about are pointy fingertips. And I'm going to be honest, pointy fingertips are kind of hard to see for sure in a print. because it could be that you just didn't print the finger completely. But I happen to know this person, and I happen to know those pointy fingers are truly pointy. And this person also has a simian crease, which is that single line horizontally across the hand instead of a heart line and a headline. And we have a whole video just on the simian crease in our YouTube channel. So if this is something that interests you, if you're curious about this, I'd say go back there and tune in, because we have a lot to say about it. So this person is definitely, it's like having these antennas at the top of your fingers, right? So ultra sensitive, totally tuning in. I tried to find some images of photos of pointy fingertips, and I couldn't, but you were mentioning that there are a couple of famous people that you know that have pointy fingertips.
Yeah, like is she Congress person? AOC?
Alexandria.
Yes.
Yes, I can't remember. Ocasio. What's the last? This. I can't remember the
anyway,
sequel.
so yes, AOC. She has pointy tips on her fingers, as well as Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy. If you haven't seen that show, if you ever do, you'll see her hands very first, and they are the pointiest little things ever. They always remind me of spiders.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So pointy fingertips. So sometimes pointy fingertips are seen with lines in the hand, like we saw on that first hand that I talked about, that had like those nervous, very deeply etched lines, especially in the lifeline area. Most of the time you will see somebody with one or two fingers that are pointy. When you start seeing all the fingers being pointy, the person may have a problem staying grounded in the present moment. They might be off in the ether somewhere, like, woo, where'd they go?
Yep, the dreamer.
The dreamer. Yes. Now, we need some of those people in the world, but it depends on what they're trying to do at the moment, as long as they're not driving.
Exactly. Don't daydream and drive.
Right. This person has, I think, the only finger that isn't super pointy is their middle finger. All of them are pointy. And I know this person is a real, dreamer is not the right word. I'm trying to think of the word. They have a vision for a world, that the world be different than it is. So she's an activist. And she does have a vision. And spends a lot of time trying to figure out how to make that happen. And
we need that person in here trying to make those things happen.
Well, we need some of those people, because that's what moves us forward in the world.
Absolutely.
Right? If we keep doing the same thing the same way, we stay where we are. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the long curved headline. Now, the long curved headline actually has a name. It's named the Persephone Headline, after the myth of the maiden goddess Persephone. And you have one of these, and I do have one. Two of these, although one of mine has a break in it, and we are going to look at a hand that has breaks in it. But this hand right now is a hand that has a beautiful, beautiful headline. It's like a waterfall to me. And here you can see it is with the pink overlay, so that you can see what I'm talking about. I mean, the flow of this line is almost like someone poured water out of a pitcher, and it went over and down and right down into the wrist. And that is one of the conditions that needs to be met for this line to officially be the Persephone Headline, is it needs to come all the way down into the wrist. So let's talk about Persephone for a minute, the myth of Persephone. Persephone was the daughter of Demeter, who was the nature goddess. And she was kidnapped by Hades and brought down into the underworld. And when her mom realized she was missing, Demeter, Mother Nature, she started to cry and grieve, and all the trees lost their leaves, and all the crops died, and everything got frozen in the world. And all the animals and birds were saying, what are we going to eat? Everything's dead. And Demeter cried and cried and cried and cried and cried, because her daughter was now down in the underworld with Hades. And so eventually, one of the other gods appealed to Zeus, and Hades agreed to let Persephone come back up to the surface world for a number of months, which is when spring happened. So that's the basic story.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason this is important is because of the part about the underworld. People who have this marking, this plunging headline, have access to the deepest unconscious. And that is not a place that most people go.
That is correct.
Right. So this is actually one of the lines in the hands that is considered a gift marking. And a gift, by definition, must be given. It's not an option. It's a requirement.
You got to use it.
You got to use it. It's not, you don't get to go, today I'm not going to use that headline.
We don't need that.
No, I'm just not going down in the unconscious for a month. Let's just, take a vacation. You don't get to do that.
I'm going to sit and watch TV for 3 years.
Yeah,
Nope, can't do that.
Not going to do it. So basically, there's no off switch for this.
No. Sadly, there is not.
Even if you wanted to try and find one or install one, there isn't one. So essentially, with a gift marking, if you do try to ignore it, not use it, put it in the closet, hide it, pretend it doesn't exist, you get what our teacher called a penalty. I like to say it's a nudge from the universe, because you're not giving a gift, right?
Nudge, push,
slam
in the face.
Right. It could end up being that 2x4, right?
Right.
It's basically because the gift must be given. And if you're ignoring it, putting it in a closet, trying to avoid it, you're not giving it.
Yes.
So
very true.
So what the penalty for not using the Persephone headline is depression.
Yep. Very much so.
Yes. So now the positive, this is not an easy gift marking.
It is not an easy gift marking, but it is a great gift marking.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade mine.
Nope, I wouldn't either. The depression, you just got to go with the feelings and feel through it. And you have to take that deep dive, and you have to figure it out in that dark soul place. It will not go away.
No, and I actually don't feel like I've suffered from depression that much, or maybe it's just that I made friends with it and I don't know the difference.
Yeah, I think you have, and you just don't. You just work with it.
I don't work really well with it as such, because to me, it's when I go into those dark places, it's a place of exploration.
Right.
And and Persephone herself in her myth actually was not unhappy when she was spending her time in the underworld. She became the hostess at the door when new souls were coming down into the underworld when they had just died. She became the hostess who would welcome them and make it easier for them to make the transition. So she had a job, and she kind of liked it.
Yep.
So I kind of like that work. I
actually do that work and help people
leave
this world and go into the next world.
You do.
So,
you do it on a literal sense.
On a literal sense, yes.
And I have been talking to dead people since I was about 7 years old. I don't do it every year, but I do hold a dinner party for the dead a lot of times in October. Coming up, I'm actually thinking of doing it on Zoom this year.
Oh, nice.
Where people come and they speak to their dear departed over dinner, serving them their favorite foods.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's called a dumb supper, and it's one of my favorite rituals. So it's I love that time of year when the veil is thin, and I've worked in places that have had ghosts.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I was in a hotel one time, and they were doing a tour, and they said, "Oh yes, the ghost up on floor da 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 da." And I was a cook at the time, and I went, "Oh, that ghost is always in the kitchen. They're very hungry." And the whole group of tour people turned around and looked at me with their mouths open, and I didn't realize. I just blurted it out. I didn't think about it.
Oh, those moments are so fun.
Yes, they are.
Because you're like, everybody else is like, what did you just say?
Right?
Well, it's true. They're sitting right over there
I
talking to me
know.
this whole time in the tour.
It didn't occur to me that those
Yes.
people wouldn't
Yes.
understand that.
I'm right there with you. I would have
Okay.
been like, yeah, I get that too.
So now some of the other things that come with this headline is not only understanding, but appreciating abstraction.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love paradox.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I have to make it fit into the left brain world.
I was going to
love
say
it.
that. This is the out of the box thinker, the person
Right.
who can think inside the box, rework the box and make it a triangle and put it back together as a hexagon.
Right, exactly. Right. The other thing that comes with this headline, it can be a photographic memory.
Oh, yes.
So memories can be organized by color, mood,
Files, smells. Mhm.
right, smells. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, absolutely. So a very strong photographic memory, visual memory.
I'm gonna work on that one with the smell and trying to study something and do how like coffee would be
Right.
a good aroma to work with. And that's probably why I drink coffee while I'm at work. But
Right.
I'm going to do a study on that, I think.
Right.
It just sounds
So
too fun.
one last thing I want to say about this hand is, again, this is another hand where the lines are really, really nervous.
Lots of
They look
nervousness.
like their hand was shaking when they drew them.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nervous. So, it tells me that this person may potentially feel the depression piece of this. Here's another one that plunges straight down like a waterfall. This one is got many breaks in it. And it also doesn't start right at the beginning of the hand. It kind of like had a late start in life. So this tells me that this person also may be struggling with some of the gifts that come with having a Persephone headline. This to me, when you have lines like this in your hand, the people who come to me who have things like this or like the simian crease, they're the ones who seem to be most grateful because they feel so much like they're misfits in the world that once they have an explanation for this and how it works and how to work with it so that it works for you instead of against you. This is why having a hand reading is so incredibly valuable. That's my opinion.
My opinion as well.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen. That's the reaction I've gotten from people over the years.
It's not fortune telling. It's not telling you you're going to be married 3 times. It is about who you are and how you can accomplish things and how you can overcome some of the things that you're dealing with at the moment.
And still remain authentically you, not have to change yourself.
Exactly.
To fit some other mold that is never going to work.
Right.
And just use your superpowers for good. And
we all have superpowers and they're all different. And they're combinations and it's a whole lot of things.
Right.
Not just the long curved headline.
Right. Well, this
or the girdle of Venus.
Right. And this person also has a partial girdle of Venus.
And
they have a pointy Mercury finger, which is the pinky.
And they also have almost have similar to what we're going to be talking about next.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
A little bit of a line of intuition.
The line of intuition, right. Right. So that is next.
Yeah.
So next thing we are talking about is the Moon Crescent or the line of intuition or the Crescent of Intuition. It goes by any one of those names. And this is another gift marking.
This one is a lovely.
This is a lovely example.
Lovely line.
Yes. Not all of them are going to look this good. There'll be many of them that are small, partial.
Big.
The curve is not so curvy. But essentially it is a line that connects the mound of the moon, which is the heel of your hand down here, up to your pinky finger in a curve, and in a way, and generally, curvy lines tend to be more right-brained and intuitive and creative, and left ones are more logical and left-brained. So this one is connecting the realm of the unconscious with the conscious area of communication.
You see it, you say it.
Right. So this person's range of perception goes beyond what's normal. They are perceiving things that other people do not actually understand as being there. It's not a super common marking. It's not as common as the girdle of Venus, and that's why this is elevated to the gift marking status. But it is, I mean, I've seen my share of them.
You do not have one?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, I have the two Persephones.
Oh, okay. I guess on this, my same hand, I have a Frankenstein version of that where it's been pieced together with 17 different, and it goes.
Yes, and a lot of them are pieced together. They're not like a one continuous line like this one is. This is actually a gorgeous example. And
this is gorgeous, yes.
When we're teaching, we try to find the most beautiful, gorgeous, perfect examples, and that's not usually what you see when people sit down in front of you.
Right. It took me a long time to piece this thing together.
Right. And this is a good time to mention that the lines in your hands continue to change throughout your life, because they're put there by our brain wiring, and our brain is plastic, and we can continually rewire our brain. So as you overcome a challenge, have a new experience, change your beliefs, change a habit, it will change the lines in your hands to reflect that.
Yep. And if you were really smart, you've done your handprints for the last 20 years or whatever when you started.
Right.
And you can see the change.
My first handprints were from 1992.
Wow.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. So yes, we date when we take handprints from people who come to see us. We date them, and I recently had a woman come back after 17 years.
Wow, I bet that was exciting.
It was, and it was almost to the day.
Wow, that's even cooler.
I know. Yeah, I was like, wow. When I pulled her handprints out of my file, I was like, oh my goodness, it's almost to the day.
Yeah.
17 years. And we compared the hands from then and now. So very interesting. I know we're kind of like going off on a little tangents here, but that's what we do.
Yes.
Especially when our dogs aren't barking or asking to go to the bathroom.
He was back there with his little mouth going, wow. He's so cute. He was smiling for the camera.
Oh, yeah. All right. So the last one that I have a slide for is, we didn't talk about the penalty for this one. Let's do that before I move on.
Right.
The penalty for the Moon Crescent or the line of intuition, if you are not using it, is stagnation, stuckness, feeling like everything just like you're in sludge. Everything just came to a halt and you're stuck and you cannot figure things out. It's the universe's way of saying, you know the answer, go inside.
That's kind of like the last couple of years in the world. We've been stagnant and stuck in a way that we don't want to move forward in, and now we have to.
Well, yeah, there's some astrology about that too, but that's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother realm.
All right, so this last one that we're going to talk about today is not that common, and that's actually, I think, kind of good. I haven't seen that many of them over the years. Maybe over my 29 years of reading hands. But it is, oh, there it is. It's the Star of Tears. So what is the Star of Tears? The Star of Tears is a little star, and when we say a star, it looks more like an asterisk than a 5-pointed star. It's 3 lines that meet at a central point to make 6 spokes. Most stars are very positive. They're explosions of energy.
Mm-hmm.
The Star of Tears is located in a spot we usually call the Cup of Tears. Do you want to talk about the Cup of Tears?
The Cup of Tears usually is in the middle of your palm. And most of the time it's hard to actually print it, even if you push the paper down and you're still like smudging it down. I have a hard time getting people with a Cup of Tears to print, even
right.
It's a hollow. Yeah, it's a hollow in there. And it is something about having some sorrow in your life that it just has taken a bit of your heart.
Right. So it creates a little divot. And that divot is usually, I'll show you where it is, where this star is. So this star is where the cup would normally be. And it's hard to show a Cup of Tears in a print or online on Zoom. It's one of those things you kind of have to feel. And like you said, sometimes when you try to print it, it won't print. But it's essentially in between the headline and the lifeline. It's kind of in the central part of the hand, usually below the headline or close to the headline. And this person has actually a fairly big Star of Tears. Usually the Star of Tears is so tiny you can miss it. It's hiding out because what it is a marker that shows sadness, that someone experienced a trauma.
Or many traumas.
So there it is. And this person I actually happen to know lost their wife not long ago to cancer, to a very seriously ugly long progression.
Yeah, it's usually something serious and traumatic.
Right.
And hard to let go.
So either the Cup of Tears or the Star of Tears is showing that this person is holding on to sadness. They're retreating. It may actually be retreating from the world because of this grief and sadness that they're carrying. So this is why I like being able to say I don't see that many of these.
Yeah.
And it could be that there are more of these out there than I know, but those people aren't showing up for hand readings.
Right.
It would be helpful to them if they did.
I wonder if Keanu Reeves has one of these.
Why would you think that?
Because he's had a lot of traumatic situations in his life.
Oh.
And it was just a thing. I thought maybe he might have one. I'll have to look. I don't know if we can look.
Well, you could do a little Google searching for his hand.
Yes.
It's going to be hard to tell. Even if you found the right photo, you never know.
You never know.
So this person also has a partial girdle of Venus. And so, they were already a little sensitive before they had their trauma, likely, and would have almost been a setup for that level of intense emotion that's keeping them so stuck in that grief and sadness. Now, there are other markers of sensitivity we did not cover. And if we tried to cover them all, we would be going on and on and on and on and on. And we need to save some things for other videos because we know that you just want to come back and watch us laugh ourselves silly when our dogs start barking and ringing the doorbell or sticking their heads in the video frame.
Right.
Yours have been very good today.
They're not here. That's why.
Oh, lucky you. Right. So we have a good time when we do these. Like we said, we don't edit them. But some of the other markers of sensitivity we didn't cover, for those of you who might know hands and might be going, hey, what about this? Or what about that? Would be the Ring of Solomon, a low set Mercury finger, which is the pinky.
Right there.
Which this hand actually does have a low
It
set
does
one.
have.
Very
I was
low
looking
set.
for the Ring of Solomon. Kind of has one.
Yep, kind of has one. The Star of Apollo, which is a different kind of sensitivity, but it's around creativity and being sensitive to rejection. the medical stigmata, which I always call the granddaddy of gift marking.
As I roll my eyes. Oh.
Yeah.
Because I have
Owner.
both hands.
Yep. They're with you.
Yep. Yes, they are.
It has so many rules about how to use it right and what happens if you use it wrong, and lots of 2x4s.
Lots and lots of 2x4s.
with the medical stigmata, lots of them.
And a clothes hanger. And a, right. Get you right on the neck.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And I have to say, over the years of all my reading, I think it's the one I see people using wrong the most.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Because there's
right here. I will admit it. I'm learning.
Guilty. We need to do a whole video on the medical stigmata.
That might be a good one, yeah. Okay.
Now that we've laughed and made people curious about it, they're going to be looking for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we should talk about healership and the medical stigmata.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be our next one.
Look for that next time.
Yeah.
Or the time after that.
Right.
Soon.
Right.
It's coming soon.
Coming soon. A whole discussion on healership and the medical stigmata. Yeah, that's a good topic.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, if you want to join us in our Facebook group, the Hand Readers Guild Forum, we have a Facebook page called the Hand Readers Guild. Links will be below. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can look at our other videos there. And one of these days, we will actually finish our website.
It's just been a tough time.
Yeah.
Timing is a bit much.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there when the dogs stop ringing the doorbell. Lots of giggles today. Hope you're having fun with us.
Right.
All right. So we're going to sign off, and we hope you had a good time with us today, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.